Hello students, welcome to this online session. This session is conducted under the ROSE project by Raya Shikshan Samstha Satara and Sadhguru Gadge Maharaj College Karad. Today we are going to learn the 12th standard syllabus of the biology, and from biology we are starting the topic that is reproduction in lower and higher plants. Myself, Mrs. Zadge SR from HM College Karad, I am conducting here the first lecture of this topic, that is reproduction in lower and higher plants. Before going to start the topic, we have to see here first the syllabus of this standard 12th subject biology for the year 2021 and 22. First of all, we have to see the name of topics and the weightage of marks according to the topic. So here the first topic is reproduction in lower and higher plants. Compulsory marks are there 6 and with option 8 marks are there. Second topic is reproduction in lower and higher animals. Compulsory 6 marks with option 8 marks. Third topic is inheritance and variation. Compulsory 4 marks with option 6 marks. Fourth topic, molecular basis of inheritance, 4 marks compulsory and with option 6 marks. Fifth topic, origin and evolution of life, it is for compulsory 4 marks and with option 6 marks. Then sixth topic, plant water relations, 5 marks are compulsory and 7 with options. Then plant growth and mineral nutrition, the 5 compulsory marks are there for this topic and with option 7 marks are there. So these are the first 7 topics. Then the topic number 8, that is respiration and circulation. The compulsory there are 7 marks and with option 10 marks are there for this topic. Then control and coordination, the 8 marks are compulsory and 11 marks are with option. 10th topic is human health and diseases. This is for 3 marks and with option 4 marks. 11th topic, enhancement in food production. 4 compulsory marks are there and with option 6 marks are there. Next topic is biotechnology, which is having 5 compulsory marks and with option 7 marks. Then 13 number topic, organisms and populations, with compulsory 3 marks and with option 4 marks. 14th number of topic, ecosystem and energy flow, compulsory 3 marks and with option 4 marks. And the last topic, that is 15th number of topic, that is biodiversity conservation and environmental issues, with compulsory 3 marks and with option 4 marks. So total there are 15 topics from the biology subject of this 12th standard, which is having compulsory 70 marks and with option 98 marks. And from this we have to start today the first topic, that is reproduction in lower and higher plants. Before starting the topic, we have to see the board exam pattern, board exam evaluation pattern for this biology subjects. So here you can see theory exam, which is carried 70 marks, and practical exam is for 30 marks, and total the 100 marks examination will be conducted by the state board for this 12th standard. And what is the question paper format, that we have to see here. In 70 marks theory paper, the question paper is consisting of about 4 sections. The first section, that is known as a section A, all questions are compulsory in this section, and this section is for 18 marks. In this section A, question number 1 contains 10 multiple choice type of questions carrying 1 mark each, and question number 2 contains 8 very short answer type of question carrying 1 mark each. So total 18 questions are there for 1 mark, and therefore section A will be of 18 marks. This is the first section. Now the section B, here for the 16 marks, here total 8 questions have to be attempted, and about 12 questions are there. Question number 3 to question number 14. 12 short note type questions or short answer type questions were asked, and from that only 8 questions the students have to attempt. 2 questions, 2 marks for each, and therefore 16 marks of this B section. Okay. Then section C contains 24 marks. This is also consisting of 12 questions, question number 15 to 26, carrying 3 mark each. Each question carries 3 marks, and about 12 questions are asked here, and students can attempt 8 questions, and this section C carries 24 marks. Okay, then section D here for 12 marks. Here 5 questions are asked, that is question number 17 to 31, and each question carries 4 marks, and students have to attempt here 3 questions, and therefore section D contains 12 marks. So in this way, section A 18 marks, section B 16 marks, section C 24 marks, and section D 12 marks, and total here 70 marks theory exam paper will be there, and the 30 marks practical examination will be there, and in this way 100 marks board exam pattern we can observe for this 12th standard subject biology. Okay, now this subject biology is also important for the different competitive examinations. So in the CET exam, what is the question paper format of this biology subject, that we have to see here. So in CET exam evaluation pattern, 100 questions of biology for 100 marks will be asked, 1 mark for each question. So here the 100 questions which were asked in the CET exam, that is based on 20% questions are based on the 11th syllabus, and remaining 80% questions are based on the 12th syllabus. So the students can study both syllabus 11th and 12th for the CET exam. 100 questions are there for 100 marks. Then this biology subject is very much important for the NEET examination, and here we have to see the NEET exam evaluation pattern. In the NEET exam, the biology subject contains about 90 questions, and here each question carries 4 marks. About 360 marks are belonging to this biology subject, and out of these 90 questions, here the 11th based questions are 40 to 50%, and same 12th based questions are 45 to 50%. So on an average 50% questions will be asked for the NEET exam, which is based on the 11th syllabus and 12th syllabus. So this is all about the examination pattern or the evaluation pattern related to these biology subjects. Okay, now we are going to start our first lecture regarding this rose project, and the topic is reproduction in lower and higher plants, and let us start the lecture 1. So before going to start the reproduction, we have already know what is mean by reproduction. The reproduction is a specific characteristic feature of living organism, means all living organisms are having this ability of reproduction. What is mean by reproduction? Reproduction is an ability of organism to give rise their young ones of their own kind. So this reproduction means ability of living organisms to give rise to young ones of their own kind, and this reproduction is having basically 2 types. The first type is asexual type of reproduction, and second is the sexual type of reproduction. Here in this chapter, first of all, we have to see what is meant by asexual reproduction and how it is carried out, and afterwards we will see the sexual reproduction in higher plants. So first we have to study here the methods of asexual reproduction. And here the asexual reproduction means what? The reproduction which is carried without gamete formation, that is known as a asexual type of reproduction. And in this asexual type of reproduction, basically 3 types we have to study. The first type is budding. The examples are yeast and hydra. The second type is spore formation. It is also called as a sporulation, and 2 types of spores are formed. Zoospore formation is taking place in the Chlamydomonas, and the Conidia formation is taking place in the Penicillium. And third type here, that is the fragmentation. Example is the Spirogyra. One by one we have to study first this asexual type of reproduction, and then we will see the sexual reproduction. Okay, so what is meant by sexual reproduction here? The sexual reproduction means it is with the formation of gametes, and they are showing the fusion of gametes. This is the difference between the asexual and sexual reproduction. So first of all, we have to see here the types of asexual reproduction, and from that the first type, that is budding in yeast, that we have to see. So let us see the budding process in yeast. Here you can see this is the parent cell of the yeast, and this parent cell divides into 2 cells. Here you can see this is the larger cell and this is the smaller cell. This smaller cell, it is known as a bud. First of all, this parent cell is dividing into two cells. Larger cell is parent cell and smaller cell is called as a bud. Afterwards, that bud grows into size, and after completion of some growth, this bud is detaching from this parent cell and it is growing as a daughter organism or daughter cell. And here you can see this is the daughter yeast and this is the original parent yeast. So here in this budding method in the yeast, from one parent cell, two yeast organisms will be formed. One is original parent cell and other will be the daughter yeast. In this way, budding in yeast is completed with the help of this asexual type of reproduction. There is no involvement of the gamete formation. Okay. Now we have to see the second type or the second example, that is the budding in hydra. Already you have studied this in the 11th standard, kingdom Animalia. This is the parent organism of the hydra, and here some outgrowth like structure is grown on the mature parent organism, and that outgrowth is called as a bud, and here that bud is growing like an parent organism. And after some growth, this parent organism is showing full development of this bud, and this bud afterwards getting detached from this parent hydra and it grows as a separate organism. So in this way, in this budding of hydra, here by the asexual type of reproduction, that is without involvement of the gamete, parent organism produces a small outgrowth like structure that is called as a bud, and this bud on detachment of the parent organism grows into a separate organism. This is the first method of the asexual type of reproduction. Now we will see the next method of this asexual type of reproduction, that is the spore formation. When the new individuals are formed by the spores, then that method is called as a sporulation or spore formation. Now first method, here some organisms are producing motile spores, and here the algae produces the motile spores. These motile spores are called as a zoospores, and example of this algae is the Chlamydomonas, and here the Chlamydomonas algae is producing here motile zoospores. You can observe here in this diagram, these are the motile zoospores. Why these zoospores are motile? Because they are having flagella. You can see here two flagella are present in a single spore. Due to presence of flagella, these spores are motile. Okay. So first example of this spore formation, that is the zoospores which are produced by the algae, and example here is the Chlamydomonas. The second example here from this spore formation, that is the non-motile spores, and the example here is the fungi. Fungi are producing non-motile spores which are known as a conidia, and example is given here is the penicillium. The fungi are producing here non-motile spores, conidia. You can see here in this diagram, these conidia are not having any cilia or flagella, and therefore these spores are non-motile. They are not moving from one place to another place, and hence these are called as a non-motile. And example here is the fungi, and from fungi penicillium is showing non-motile spores which are known as a conidia. So in this way, with the help of these spores, the different lower organisms are producing their new individuals, and this is also without involvement of the gamete. Okay. Now we have to see the third method. That method is known as a fragmentation. It is a very simple method. In this method, the multicellular organism is breaking into number of fragments, and then from each fragment a new individual will be grown. And here example is known as the Spirogyra. We can see in this diagram, this is the uh, parent Spirogyra filament, and this parent Spirogyra filament is breaking into three fragments. This is the first fragment, this is the second, and this is the third. And from first fragment, one individual will be grown. From second fragment, another individual will be grown. And from third fragment, third individual will be grown. So in this way, from one parent organism, three new individuals or three offsprings will be formed. In this way, the fragmentation method is responsible for the asexual type of reproduction, and here example, well-known example is the Spirogyra. In this way, the basic asexual type of reproduction we can observe in the lower organisms. But here we have to study the asexual type of reproduction methods in the angiospermic plants, and the asexual reproduction methods in angiospermic plants are known as vegetative propagation. Why the asexual reproduction is called as a vegetative propagation? Because the asexual reproduction which is occurring in the angiospermic plant it is taking place with the help of the vegetative organs like root, stem, leaf or bud, and all these organs are vegetative organs: root, stem, leaf or bud. And with the help of these vegetative organs, reproduction is taking place in the angiospermic plants. Therefore, this type of reproduction is called as a vegetative reproduction or vegetative propagation. Here, there are basically two methods of this vegetative propagation we can observe. The first method is the natural method, and second method is known as the artificial method. So one by one we have to study here. The first natural methods we have to see. Already the point related to this natural method you have studied in the 11th standard. We have just revised it. So first here the example of this vegetative propagation, that is with the help of root. The plants are showing a reproduction. Examples are here sweet potato, asparagus and dahlia. With the help of root, the new individuals will be formed. You can see here in this example diagram, this is the sweet potato root, and these roots are producing the new shoot or the new plant from this root. This is the first natural method of the vegetative propagation. The second method here, with the help of stem, the new plants will be produced. Here examples are rhizome, turmeric, tubers, potato and bulbs, onion. Here we have to see in the diagram the stem tuber, that is potato, which is showing the germinating buds, and these germinating buds are responsible for the production of new plants. So here this stem is producing the sprouting bud like structure, and from this sprouting bud like structure the new plants will be formed by the natural method, and therefore this is the second natural method of vegetative propagation. Now let us see the third example here. From the leaf the new plants will be formed. Example here is the bryophyllum, kalanchoe or begonia. So here let us see in the diagram. Here you can see the example of this bryophyllum. From this bryophyllum, when the leaf get matures, at the notches of leaves you can see the small plantlets, and these plantlets are getting detached from this leaf and they are growing as a separate plant. So here with the help of leaf, the natural method of this vegetative propagation we can observe. So these are the different methods which we can observe naturally in the plants, which are responsible for the reproduction in those plants. Okay, now we have to see some artificial methods which are used for the vegetative propagation in the plants. And here in these artificial methods, basically three methods are there. First is cutting, second is grafting, and third is tissue culture. So first method here is the cutting. It is also very simple method. In cutting method we have to cut the vegetative part of a plant, and that cutted part is grown into soil or in a pot, and it will be forming a new plant. So here small piece of any vegetative part of a plant having one or more buds is used for the propagation. And here in this example we can see we can use stem cutting, or we can use leaf cutting, or we can use root cutting. So first example here, stem cutting. We can use the cutting of rose, or you can use the bougainvillea cutting, and we can raise the new plant. Then leaf cutting example here is the sansevieria. Sansevieria leaf are cutting, and they are sown in soil, and their formation of new plant will be takes place. And root cutting example is blackberry. Let us see all these methods of the cutting with the help of examples. So here the stem cutting, you can observe here the small cuttings of rose plant is there, and each cutting will be showing here new plant formation. Then second example is the leaf cutting, sansevieria. You can see this is the sansevieria plant, and when we are cutting the leaf and that cutted leaf is grown into the soil, that will be forming a new plant. Next example, root cutting, blackberry. This is the plant of blackberry, and here are the root cuttings. With the help of these root cuttings, we can raise the new plant of this blackberry. So with the help of stem, leaf and root cutting method, we can grow the plants, and this is known as the asexual type of reproduction or the vegetative type of reproduction by cutting method. Second method, that is the grafting method. In grafting, two different plants are joined together and afterwards those plants are growing as a single plant. And here the two different parts which are used for this grafting, out of that the one part, that is the part of stem containing one or more bud, that is known as a scion, and the rooted plant which is taken for this grafting, that is known as a stalk. Means here two plant parts we have to take. The one part plant that is having root, that it is known as a rooted plant, that is known as a stalk, and the other plant part which is grafted on this stalk, that part is known as a scion. Okay, so let us see in the example here, in the diagram, how this grafting is taking place. You can see here the two plant part. The first plant part is the rooted, which is present in a pot. This is rooted plant is known as a stalk, and on this stalk we have to graft the another plant part, and that grafted plant part is known as a scion. You can see here this is scion and stalk. Both these scion and stalk are united with each other, they are bind with each other. This is the graft union, and afterwards they are wrapped or waxed, and after some days these both plant parts are getting growing togetherly as a single plant, and here this technique is known as a grafting. In this grafting technique, the plant stem part we can use, or we can use bud, and when bud is used, that technique is known as a budding. So here we have to see what is meant by bud grafting or budding. When we use only a single bud for the grafting on the stalk, then it is known as a budding. Example is here apple, pear and rose. How this budding is carried out, let us see in this diagram. This is the stalk that we have taken for the grafting, and this is the original bud which is present on the stalk that we have to cut here, and this is the cutted stalk, and on this cutted stalk we have to graft the another bud which is from the another plant, and here that bud is fixed into the stick cut, and the bud development is taking place on the stalk as a single plant. So in this way, this budding technique, two different plant parts we are joined together and they are growing as a single plant. This grafting technique is taking place in the dicot plants because the dicot plants are having cambium, and during grafting here cambium is playing very much important role. When two plants are grafted together, that cambium which are present in those plants, they are getting united with each other and then they are growing as a single plant, and therefore if cambium is present, then and then only the grafting will be possible, and therefore in monocots grafting is not possible because in monocots there is absence of cambium. Cambium is not present in the monocot plants, and therefore the grafting is not possible. Okay, so this is about the grafting technique. Now we have to see the next method, that is the tissue culture technology. So let us start the tissue culture technology. What is mean by tissue culture? Tissue culture is a method in which a small plant tissue is carefully grown to give many plantlets in the tissue culture laboratory. Here, a very small part of the plant tissue, it is either from the root or stem or leaf, and that plant tissue part is grown into a laboratory, and from that tissue culture technology we have to get number of plantlets. So here this technique is known as a micro propagation method, and nowadays to grow many plantlets this tissue culture technology is used. Now let us see in the diagram how this tissue culture technology is taking place. So here you can see the leaf is shown here, and a very small part from that leaf is cut into small pieces, and from that one piece is transferred into this petri plate which is containing medium that is known as the agar growth medium. This is the nutrient medium which is present in the petri plate, and on that agar medium the plant part which is cut into many small pieces that is transferred, and after some days the uh, tiny plantlets will be formed on this agar medium plate, and then these plantlets are getting transferred into the compost or into the pot or into the field. So in this way a very small part of this plant tissue is taken and grown into many plantlets with the help of this tissue culture technique. Okay, so in this way the artificial methods of this asexual type of reproduction or vegetative propagation we have completed. Now the next very important part from this topic that we have to start, that is the sexual reproduction, and this sexual reproduction is taking part in the higher plants. So for the sexual reproduction in the angiospermic plants, one specialized reproductive structure is formed that is known as the flower, and this flower is having a specialized reproductive structures which is responsible for this sexual reproduction in this plant. And this flower it is having four different whorls. Already you have studied the details of this structure of flower in the 11th standard. The first part, that is the calyx, which is made up of sepals. The second part is known as a corolla, which is made up of petals. The third part is known as the androecium, made up of stamens. And the fourth part, gynoecium, which is made up of carpels. Out of these four parts, as you have known, that androecium and gynoecium are known as the essential whorls, because these are responsible for the sexual reproduction, and calyx and corolla are known as the accessory whorls. So let us see these four whorls in a diagram of this flower. So this is the uh, stalk of the flower, that is known as a pedicel, and on pedicel receptacle is there, and on receptacle these four whorls we can observe. The outermost whorl is known as a sepal, which is made up of calyx. Then the second whorl is corolla, which is made up of petals. Then third whorl is androecium, which is made up of stamen. You can see here these are the stamens. And the innermost whorl, that is known as a gynoecium, which is made up of carpel. So from this, androecium and gynoecium are taking part in the sexual reproduction. So we have to study the details of this male reproductive whorl and female reproductive whorl. So first of all, we have to see here the events which are occurring in the sexual reproduction, or the different process occurring in the sexual reproduction in angiosperms. Though the sexual reproducing organ in angiosperm, it is a flower, and in flower male reproductive whorl and female reproductive whorl is present. Male reproductive whorl is known as the androecium, female reproductive whorl is known as the gynoecium. In androecium the anthers will be there, or anthers are present, and in gynoecium ovules are present. In anther the microsporogenesis process is taking place, and in ovule megasporogenesis process will be taking place. After microsporogenesis, anthers are producing pollen grains or microspores, and after megasporogenesis ovules are producing embryo sac or female gametophyte, that is known as a megaspore. So the microspores are produced in anther and megaspores are produced in ovule, and from this pollen grain the male gametophyte is formed. But before that the pollination process we can see, and after pollination here male gametophyte will be formed, and in megaspore female gametophyte will be formed. And when this male gametophyte and female gametophyte fuses, it is known as a fertilization. After fertilization the flower is converted into fruit, and in fruit ovules are converted into seed. So in this way, in angiospermic plants, the flower is taking part in the sexual reproduction by these different events. So first of all we have to see about the male reproductive whorl, and then we will see the female reproductive whorl. So the male reproductive whorl, that is the androecium, that structure of anther we have to see here. The male reproductive whorl, that is the androecium, which is made up of stamens, and here stamen is consisting of filament, connective and anther. As we can see here in this diagram, this is the structure of stamen, this is the filament, these are the anthers, and this is the connective. with the help of connective, the filament is attached to the anther, and the anthers are present in the angiospermic plant are of two types. Some anthers are monothecous, that is they are showing one lobe and two pollen sacs, and some anthers are dithecous anthers showing two lobes which are having four pollen sacs. So let us see in the diagram. This is the monothecous anther and this is the dithecous anther. Here you can see one lobe, that is the two pollen sacs, and here the four pollen sacs you can see. This is the first, this is the second, this is the third, and this is the fourth. So such type of anther is known as a dithecous anther. And when the TS of taking place, when we take a TS of this anther, the dithecous anther is showing four pollen sacs, and therefore that structure is known as a tetrasporangiate. So here the structure of dithecous anther you can see in this diagram. When we take a TS of this anther, this is known as a tetrasporangiate anther because it is showing four pollen sacs. This is the first pollen sac, this is the second, this is the third, and this is the fourth. So total four pollen sacs are there. So in this way, in this first lecture we have seen the asexual type of reproduction which is taking place in the lower organisms, and the vegetative propagation which is taking place in the angiospermic plants, natural method and artificial methods. And we have started the sexual reproduction in the angiospermic plants, and from that some introductory point related to the androecium we have completed in this lecture. So we will stop here, and the next point we have to study in the next lecture. Till then, thank you.